What's up, Stephen Johnson stocks? A skinny Ajivans coming at you, healthy Ajivan. But I just want to be very quick. Made 27 bucks this week, and so it's not my greatest week. But I just want to say a couple of things. One, I've been in this about 18 months or something, and I can tell you, it's this type of thing. Trading takes a couple of years. Unless you're a fucking genius, it takes a couple of years to start getting any kind of consistency. So I'm well on track. I think it's like a 5-year plan I've got to professionally trade. Two, the loss that I encountered this last week is probably the best thing that's happened to us, because this last week, while I only made a little bit of money, the knowledge that I've picked up as a result has been absolutely priceless. I've been studying a lot, working a lot on support and resistance, a lot of different long setups, and the intricacies of support and resistance on 2-minute, 5-minute, 30-minute, 60-minute, daily, weekly charts. And the results have been staggering. And I really believe that if I can have a $3 grand month in December and I can take on board this knowledge in January, start applying it across February and March, then these $3 grand months will be a lot more consistent, even taking into account what I've learned in the past. The third and final thing is, I was asking you, why are you motivated to trade? Because you have to have a reason why you're putting all these hours in. Robert Russell's story touched me a little bit. He said, mine's a bit deep. About 4 years ago, I had a beautiful family and wife who meant the world to me, and 3 amazing kids. April 2014, she left me for my best friend, and now I see the kids every other weekend. Since then, I've been a zombie living day by day with no real passion. I was that black hole that you talked about in the podcast, but July last year, I found something that excited me. It gave me a real reason to get out of bed in the morning when the sun comes up. And every day it gets a bit better. It didn't take me long to realize that I'd be a trader for the rest of my life. We will not fail. Keep it steady. Live the dream. And honestly, I mean, first of all, your wife's a fucking bitch, or your ex-wife. But more importantly, you've got to think as traders, we're doing this for multiple reasons. Like, I was low confidence when I first started doing all of this, and like a kind of a bit of a low self-worth. And trading is brilliant because when you develop or grow at anything, it gives you a sense of identity and it gives you a sense of self-worth. And when you realize that you're improving, it builds your self-confidence. And your self-confidence will build you towards being a happy person. Thinking, I'm a trader, I'm good at trading, and I've got the self-worth because I can see that I've grown at something. I think self-worth and growth in trading is the key to fucking happiness. I always talk about happiness in all of my different videos, how to get happy. I've found, coming out of a little bit of a depressive mode, I've found happiness through growing in trading and aspiring to get to the next level. And it's worked. And I'm significantly more happy than I was a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever. So keep pushing. Realize you're doing it for your mental health as well as the money. Live the dream. Some epic trades, including live trades here. Really good lessons, good long setups. I'll see you guys at the end. Try and be quick with this, but I made 27 bucks. I was up about 80 bucks, and then an order I forgot about went off, and I lost 50 bucks, like that. But I was working this out, and from August, the last 3 weeks green, all the way until December, except the last week, I was up pretty much 18 straight weeks green, 18 weeks in a row, all profitable, not even close to red. I was killing it every single week, and it was just, how much can I make? How much should I size up? And then the few patterns that I know stopped coming on the short side at the turn of the year, they've not been coming. Does that mean that they'll never come back? No, of course. These are common patterns. They'll definitely come back when the market gets a bit more bearish. But I want to say that I'm extremely grateful for the patterns going away, because I was pretty much a 1-2 dimensional trader trading a couple of setups. And since I've took the loss, I mean, I've probably been putting a good 9 to 10 hours in every day. And on the long side, looking at technical support and resistance to a whole new level, one that I never thought was possible. And looking at new long setups, multiple different types, like 6 or 7 different types of long setups, and really analyzing them daily, and how those setups respond to support and resistance on the 2, the 5, the 15, and the 30-minute time frame. And the results are mind-blowing, and what I can now see now on the overall of long and short, the way stocks move is just I can't even put words to describe it. It's unbelievable. The learning that I've undergone this past week. It's been transformational. But I'm still like not a rough diamond, but I'm still like a rough stone. And it's gonna take till about March. I know, and guys, like, trust us. I told you I'm gonna be a profitable trader. I'm gonna get consistent soon, and then boom, 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 boom. Like, I took off, and I could always see it coming. I was like, the way the market is, the way my patterns are, this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen, and I could see it, and I can see it on the long side now as well. It's gonna take till about March to really iron this out. Maybe even April, probably March, if I really do 10 hours a day every day. But because I know that with trading, you learn something, and then it takes about a month to know it confidently enough to start actioning it effectively, pulling the trigger on the trades. But I'm coming to grips with it. I think by mid-Feb, I'll be more solid on it. By March, I'll be implementing it. And I'll be nailing the long and the short side. And I think for the rest of the year, I'll be pulling in minimum $1 grand, $2 grand months, and I don't think there'll be many more, if any, red months. So honestly, this January start for me, it's the year of the long side. It's the year of nailing longs and nailing shorts. I'll probably always be short biased, but I've had a green week on the long side. But more January, February, March, putting what I'm learning into practice. I'm thinking the back end of this year will be brilliant. Next year will be truly kicking ass. So this is NBEV, and it's kind of like the gap and crap, but where I kind of got into trouble in the past was I was shorting companies that didn't really have overhead resistance, or if they did have overhead resistance, they didn't have much resistance. I was shorting weed plays, I was shorting blockchain news, and this is the first one where it's a drinks company, and I had a deal with a tea brand. But what I wasn't doing before was managing my risk reward very well. I was just thinking, if I lose $1,000, I'll stop doing this pattern. But I was winning so often, and I was never losing that. It was always good. But then I lost $1,000 a couple of times in a row, and I was like, okay, this is not sustainable. So what I've started to do, which is a lot better, is look for these downtrending charts, and then look for a kind of a base to risk off. And I mean, here we can see that there's a lot of, this was previous support in the 360s, and then since it's obviously, and then it was resistance a little bit here, and then it's fell through. So obviously the next line of resistance is obviously going to be 360, because this is huge support prior. Like, it bounced, and then here top, and then it fell through. So it's probably going to top. Like, the odds are, if it's supported and then bounced like 10 times, 20 times, 30 times at this level, like, it's like a 1 out of 30 shot. It's not going to hit there, at least on its way up, if it breaks through, if you know what I mean. So I was looking at the 360 level, and the 360 level is obviously right here, and it's although it's had the news, it's popped, it's give back some of its gains, popped again, give back some of its gains. So you kind of got this triple top as well in the 340s. So I was shorting into any spike, and if it got over the 360s, over and under, and it held over 360s, if it popped through 360s and based, and used this long-term resistance as then support, then I'm thinking, I've got to get out. It's going to hold the 360s on the contract news. But when I'm shorting in the 340s, the 350s, and it tops, then I know that I'm good. It's the moves failed. We've got this very big wick, and again, it's a bit scary, but I mean, you've got the double top. It's coming down. Sorry. Oh. Before market open, this is what it looks like. It looks pretty bullish, but you've kind of got this double top, big wick on 360, and it's just a huge rejection. And I was just covering down in the threes because you've got this pre-market base that might become support for longs. Then it's fell through longer, and then it actually went all the way down to the 290s. So you're taking 80 cents. I mean, I took about 9%, 10%, but you could have took about 30% before it kind of had this inflection and ramped back up. So very solid trade, very solid risk reward. Very pleased with this one. and this is ITUS, and it's a solid long. And gotta shout out me pal, Reese, UK friend. You've got to have connections, you've got to have friends in trading, share ideas, share what works with each other, because this was a pattern he liked, at Trade the Trend, and this was a pattern that he shouted out, and it's one that I look for on my radar a lot now. Is a long setup. But the important thing is I was just saying before, and I've showed you in reverse order because it's important. Yeah, there's like resistance here, and just in the last video I was talking about the importance of resistance, and it probably will top out at resistance. But the difference between ITUS and the last trade I've just showed you is that ITUS is not a bad company. Like it's in the 350s with resistance here, and then it's still in the 350s 2 years later. So it's not like it's some massively downtrending chart. And the resistance that it has in the 350s, it's capable of going on multi-day runs and breaking it. It broke it just a few months ago, so why won't it break it again? And lastly, the last thing about resistance is this is kind of, it moved, and then this is the second move. But the second move, like this is kind of the first day of the move. So it had a little green day here, then it gapped up and had a proper move. So this is the first day of the move here. But then it gapped up again. But the thing is, it only moved from 280 to 3. So it's like, it's only a couple of percent. And this was on volume of like 900,000, 800,000, maybe even 600,000 shares on this second day. We can see more clearly. It's 860,000. So when it's gapping up on its second day, and it only traded a few 100,000 shares, and it only moved 10 cents, that's explaining that, or it's suggesting that the move hasn't yet happened. It's about to happen. So you're kind of watching for this to go off. And the other fact is that it's gapping up and it's right near its resistance level. So it doesn't really have to go far before it breaks through the resistance level. Again, there's much more chance of it breaking through if it doesn't have to exhaust itself, making a big run before it hits the resistance level. Because here, I mean, no one's really in the trade. But people are not going to be thinking, oh, the resistance level, I need to take profits now, because they've just got in. So they're expecting it should break through. But with the other trade, it's pushed 30% already. People are thinking, well, maybe I should take me profits at the resistance level. So that's a key fundamental difference. But on this trade, lots of annotation, because I'm still learning this. We have this is the day one, popped from this kind of left shoulder, which you can use as support, and it's very light volume. But we know that in the open, you've just got to watch it and think base, higher, low. The left shoulder is at, let's have a look at this. The left shoulder is at exactly kind of 323, yesterday's high. It's basing at 322, 323. So the downside is if it falls through 323 is 3 cents, 2 cents. You cut your loss if it falls through. But this price action does not look at all like it's about to fall through on the 1 minute chart. Base, higher low, slight grind. You wait basically for it to pop with any kind of volume. So the minute we go from, it's like an inflection of volume. So downtrend in volume, downtrend in volume. Then when the volume pops from 23,000 shares up to 500,000 shares, the volume looks like it went up 4 times there. As soon as it pops, it's a multi-day breakout, and you buy in as soon as the volume comes in. Anywhere, like I'd say anywhere you can between the 330s and the 350s, anywhere above that's kind of chasing. But what you want to be thinking about it is, I want to do the opposite of what 90% of traders do. That's what confused me with longs, and that's what I'm learning significantly. You're thinking, I'm buying strength, though, is that not bad? You want to buy weakness, chase, and short strength, and do the opposite of what the 95% are doing. And that's true, but the difference with this is, and the exception is, no one is in this trade, no one knows about this trade, really, because it's such light volume. But as soon as it hits the high of day scanners, as soon as it pops above 10%, everyone's going to chase it, but you're the first one in. So you're not really chasing here. You're just the first one in. And as soon as the volume comes in, you're buying the volume breakout, and then you're selling on the way up anywhere you can. I bought about 337, and I sold in 360 like a bitch. It went all the way up to the 380s, came back down, popped all over the fours. People are chasing here, people are chasing here. You're the first one in. It's very okay to buy strength here. Very solid trade. So I am long on Mara, and the reason why is that expected at whatever. The company that owns, like this company owns GBV, and it says the technology company that mines cryptocurrencies has purchased 1,300 Bitmain Antemma S9 miners. So they've purchased something that makes bitcoins. So it's legit news. It's not shit news. And stocks go 100% on shit news. So I'm thinking this could go up like 100 to 150% on legit news on Mara. And it's got a history of running multiple days before. So I'm in from 474. Hopefully it won't double top here. Hopefully it's going to push through. You might catch the breakout right now. Yeah, we're going to see the breakout right now. So I'm only in 100 shares because I'm scared. I'm up like $10. Hopefully we'll catch the breakout. I'll update you guys later. Yup, here it is. Is this it? Maybe. Only 100 shares, not a big position. It's pre-market. Don't know what's going to happen, but if it goes 100% up and I've got $400 in, or even 50%, I'll take $200. And here's the break of 5. Dipped, pushed up, consolidated, held the breakout, and then here's 5.7, 5.8. Wow, now there's some volume. 5.12. And I was in on the dip on 474. I think I could easily take $1 a share on this. And if we just look at the long-term chart, and shorts may be bagged, shorting this down. It's got a history of putting massive days in. Looks good, and it's low float. Okay, and I'm out. So it ran all the way to the 540s. When it dipped down to the I sold some in the 515s, then it dipped down 520s. I actually averaged up, so I was only in 50 shares. I added 150, and then at 520, and then when it dropped and started looking weak, I saw that there's a couple of S3s, which means that they can sell shares. And I was just like, it's looking like it's going to fall back under 3. I don't like that sign. If it's going to really, really be the one, it should at least hold like the 520s, and it looks like it's going to fall through the 5s right now. So, will it be today's runner? Maybe, probably could be, but the pre-market action, it's just not looking. If it can fall through 5 right now, yeah, there's the fall through 5. Like it's. I mean, you had from 470 to 540, big move. It's a good 20%, but you can't trust these penny stocks. 2 tips just to close out and sign out on that I really wanted to say. 1, don't be discouraged by a bit of a loss or a bad month. Like, what you've really got to always think about, and what's always, a lot of people say, how do you stay so motivated? And 2 reasons. 1, I always look at the big picture. Where was I a year ago to where I am now? Do I know a lot more? What was my winning percentage 6 months ago? What is it now? And my winning percentage a year ago was about 25%. Now it's averaging about 55%, 60%. And as long as you're making improvements 3 months on, 6 months on, 1 year on, then accept that it's going to take 2 years or 3 years. Like to become a fucking electrician or to get a degree, it takes 3 years. Don't think that you can crack trading in 6 months. You're not going to. You need to invest in education. You need to bear it out 2, maybe even 3 years. It takes time, and if anyone tells you it doesn't, they're a fucking moron, spacker idiot. Okay? And the second thing is have connections. Like, a lot of the guys who I know who study hard are like, I let into the circle, like, who I know, like Master Roshi, John from America, Roscoe Nolan, Skating Joe, Roland, all of these guys, Reese, I cannot forget, the fucking 18-year-old who studies charts 11 hours a day is obsessed. I like to know these people because they keep me motivated and they keep me under the disciplined lifestyle. So, for a fun thing to do, might be comment below the Twitter handle of another trader that you know or someone who helps you. And then maybe it's a little way of everyone networking with each other. So maybe mention the Twitter handle of someone that you know or follow or who's cool. And so everyone can make connections with each other. And that's if you've got one. Otherwise, just comment, fucking live the dream like a motherfucking shebang cunt. Don't comment that. I'll see you later.